Hello and welcome to the show. I am here on Automobilista with the Stadium Super Trucks. I have been so looking forward to driving these vehicles. They are perhaps one of the most spectacular forms of motorsport. If you haven't seen them before after watching this, go search up on YouTube, have a look at these. They do some of the sport races for the V8 supercars where they take them around the street circuits. It is very, very impressive and just something that you should go and watch if you haven't seen them. This game is a fantastic game. I was primarily looking forward to it just so that I could drive these trucks. And while I am incredibly glad to see them here and very much love driving them, they are about the toughest vehicles I've ever tried to learn to drive. It is just so different to everything else I've ever driven. Yeah, they are not easy to go driving with. To show them off, I'm going to be doing an 8-lap race around the Montreal circuit. I'll be at the back of a 20-truck grid, and as much as I would like to be coming near the front, a top 10, maybe even a podium is possible, I want to survive this race without having an accident. That would be a good finish for me, because yeah, these are ultra tough to go racing with. I was a little bit cheeky having a look up the inside there. Oops. Wasn't quite likely to pay off. I haven't been able to get my truck into a good place so far. Coming up towards the front is going to largely depend on if I can get a good start and what happens with the other vehicles. If there are accidents, I might be able to make my way up. Or if we get stuck on the outside here, though, it's not going to help. Please give me space. I've got a wheel on the curb and on the grass, and now they're fighting. Oh god, they're going to put each other in the wall. It's all chaos. I'm just trying to stay out of trouble. I just don't want to get into issues. Oh, will you please stop crashing directly ahead of me? This has not been a good opening lap, and none of it's been my fault this time out. To be fair, none of it has been my fault. It has just been trucks trying to fit into too smaller an area. Right, it's not been a good start at all. The trucks up ahead have had a bit of a wiggle. I think someone may have had a very, very near miss coming off that jump and very nearly gone for a spin. Now we're all diving under brakes. Oh, why are we checking up so much here? I think it's been a bonkers opening lap, this one. It's been all full-on crazy. Well, I mean, you wanted an exciting start to a race. It's certainly been that. I've taken a couple of knocks, nothing too bad, though. These are sturdy trucks, so you can get away with a little bit of bumping. We're going to have a go up the inside of the hairpin. We are going to make a move. Whether we're going to hold on to it, though, the AIs are better at getting the trucks out of the corners than I am. So, yeah, he was going to get a better run out of there. I'm very close. Please don't land in the back or the side or just generally on the opponent's truck. That tends not to be a particularly good way to go. And now we've got the scariest part of the lap coming up. This is a terrifying bit. The huge stop down towards the final chicane. I wanted to have a dive, but I wasn't sure if he was going to give me space. Let's focus on getting the run out of the chicane. Can we do it? We're going to make it too wide across the final jump. Ooh, thankfully we both landed it quite nicely. We weren't kind of swerving around too much. Not like Bumblebee up ahead. He looked like he had a big issue across that jump, and now I am quite nicely on the inside down towards turn 1. Oh, we've picked up that front wheel, but we're going to get across in time and get the position. So somehow, despite such a shocking start, we're up to 15th as we start the second lap. It could have got a lot worse, actually. It could have got a lot worse. Having been boxed in, have trucks spin directly in front of me and so on. Yeah, that could have gone worse. Right, that was a lap around the Montreal circuit. Survived despite all of the carnage up into that 15th spot, and hopefully my favourite of the overtaking positions is coming up here. Have a nice dive up the inside, make sure you can get across in front so you're on the inside for this next turn. The AIs don't want to fight it around the outside, and I struggle getting the power down anyway out there, so don't want to be stuck out wide. Oh, we're up another position. Right, we are doing quite nicely. And the truck hasn't tried to kill me yet. It's apparently trying to kill a whole bunch of the AIs. Dear God, everything is going on. I think I'm just going to be a little bit early on these brakes to make sure that we can survive. It's all of the shenanigans are happening, and I'm slightly scared. There are about 4 main reasons why these trucks are so scary to drive. I'm going to add 5 because the AI are being crazy this time out. The main there are two sort of major ones that are why they took so long for me to learn. The first one is the traction side of things. Of course, I have no assist on. The only thing I do have is auto clutch because my brain can't quite deal with all of that at the moment with these. So, of course, no traction control. And these things spin their wheels up very easily. I was kind of expecting, I know they are very powerful trucks, but I was kind of expecting the sort of vehicles that they were to be the kind of, you can kind of chuck them around corners. That's what I was thinking they were going to drive like. You can't. You have to treat these as the most delicate vehicles you have ever driven. You have got to be so careful with the throttle because it is very easy to spin the wheels up. I mean, of course, I want to be trying to use as much throttle as I can, so you will see on the little telemetry bar, I'll be using as much throttle as I can get away with. But you really have to make sure that you've got everything sorted out before you start diving to full throttle and so on. Because, as I said, these things will spin their wheels up incredibly easy, and the worst thing about them is that from relatively low speeds like now, if I put my foot down a little too soon, you can get away with a tiny modicum of sliding. Well, certainly I can anyway. If you're a better driver with these, maybe you can do more. But you can get away with a tiny modicum of sliding. Any more than that and you're going around. And the worst bit of it is that it takes a couple of seconds for the truck to go round and hit the wall, but for that couple of seconds there is nothing you can do, steering, braking, throttle wise, that will stop it. You are going in the wall. And it's just the worst feeling, knowing that you are about to have a big accident and you can't stop it. And the only way I found to deal with it is you basically just have to be super smooth with that throttle out of the low speed corners. Any of the corners where you're coming out of it in first gear, which around here is most of them, you have to be super delicate with that throttle. Not kind of what I was expecting from a great big truck, but yeah, it's just the way that it has to be. The other big thing that you've got to deal with is the brakes. Okay, not the jumps or the suspension, it's the braking. That is probably the largest thing, really, with these. Trying to get the truck slowed down. As you can see, when you go under brakes, the front of the truck dives down. They have very soft suspension. So yeah, when you jump on the brakes, the front dives to the floor. Well, we've all changed places through that hairpin. Didn't quite work out for me. I was a little too far back, I guess, to pull that dive off. Yeah, the big dives, the truck has about 75% brake pressure to the front wheels from standard. So yeah, most of it is done by the front. The problem is what the rear end does under very heavy braking. So again, much like I said with the accelerator, you've got to be super smooth with these brakes. You've already seen it a few times where I'm fighting with the truck, trying to get it controlled as it slows down. It's just the back end is so unloaded that it wiggles around. And that is a really difficult thing to deal with. It kind of feels like you're permanently locking the rear wheels. You're not, but it feels like it because it wiggles around so much, and that took a lot of getting used to because you've really got to be so very delicate with the truck under braking just to not have an accident. Or we got to go around the outside, or that is he is determined not to lose that position. Have I got him yet? I don't know where he is. I can't see at all. Yes, I think I have. I think I have got him just about. Oh, that was a close call. The brakes will take a super long time to get used to. If you're not used to driving this kind of vehicle, well, certainly, there we go. That is about as much sideways as I can get safely without thinking the truck is about to spin. You will fight the brakes. You can't. One of the difficulties with Montreal is a lot of the braking zones, the heavy braking zones, can be slightly curved, and any sort of little steering movements, you're going to end up in a lot of trouble. If things start to go wrong under braking, it can be really hard to recover it. It's kind of a frantic scramble as you're trying to keep the truck in a straight line. You saw there a little bit. That wasn't too bad. That was relatively calm. But yeah, there can be some frantic scrambles and fighting. And if you do lock the front tyres up, you're in a lot of trouble. So yeah, getting the braking right with these is a not a fun time. We're about to have issues, I think. We got slightly knocked and I couldn't get on the brakes soon enough. I'm sorry, number 37, we're going to use you as a brake. That was not intended. We got pushed out a little bit wide, and I didn't actually have much of a choice there. Oh crap, we're going to go too wide over the jumps. Ugh. Please don't let him twist. I twisted in the air. I do apologise. I probably scared the crap out of him, wherever he is. Is he back behind me? We're up into 8th somehow as we come towards half distance of this race. We've made it into the top 10, which is good. And now we go to... That's why I was saying this is probably the most terrifying place on the track. Because of the difficulties with getting it stopped, it's the biggest braking zone. You come from about 135 miles an hour down to about 50. I tend to be a little bit greedier with the curbs than the AIs will be. And, yeah, it's so very tough to make sure you get it slowed down lap after lap without something going wrong, because it is so easy for something to go wrong. You're a little too late on the brakes. If you try and panic and press that brake a little bit harder, you're going to lock something up, or you're just going to lose the back end and have a crash. You try and get on that throttle a little bit sooner to catch the trucks ahead, you're going to spin the wheels, you're going to go sideways, you're going to have a crash. So that's all stuff to deal with. Don't put a wheel on the dirt either. That's another stupid thing to be doing. The other difficulties that I mentioned with these, the suspension is, as you can see, very, very soft, and every so often the truck will lift the front wheel up into the air. Now, I haven't found this as much as I was expecting to, and I haven't actually found it as a problem, really. I don't really want to go for both of you. If I could just slot in between the middle of you, because I don't want to go around the outside of the next corner. Thank you. There was a stadium truck-sized gap, and I found it. Only I've not got very well out of that turn. He's not going to be alongside me, though, so we're good. Across the jump. He's not good across the jump, though. He got a huge wiggle, and I didn't get a very good landing either, but never mind. Yes, the suspension going around the corners, you will, from time to time, see it picking up one of the wheels into the air. It looks spectacular. It looks terrifying. You will just be looking at sky for a large amount of time when it does it. However, it's actually not that hard to deal with. Your main problem is still spinning up the rear wheels, which is the same whether it's got the front wheel wiggling about in the air or not. So it looks spectacular, it looks incredible. It's actually not that hard to be dealing with. Damn it, he moved over just enough to be awkward. That was actually very well defended from the AI there. So yeah, you get used to that in next to no time. It does help, and part of the reason why I've come to Montreal, a circuit that I know very well. I love driving this track. I think it's a great circuit. So when I have the front of the truck looking up into the sky, or the wheel wiggling around, I know where I'm going. Around this track, I'm very comfortable racing at Montreal. So it does help, certainly, if you know the circuit. I actually now, as we're coming towards the end of this race, I'm being more and more cautious under brakes, because I just want to get to the end without having an accident. Oh, there goes that front wheel up into the air. Oh, I think our leader is setting faster lap after fast lap. I have got these down into the 205s when running in clean air and when not terrified of having an accident. Sort of hot lapping, I can get them down to some decent pace. At the moment, I'm having a little bit of difficulty getting past this green truck, and I'm slightly getting, as we get nearer and nearer the end, I'm getting more and more nervous about making a silly mistake with these trucks. The final of the difficulties is, as you might imagine, well, the jumps. You know, they're not the thing that you normally have to deal with, or certainly for me, when I spend most of my time circuit racing, it's not something you normally have to worry about, going over jumps, and especially the way that you hit these jumps as opposed to just sort of normal off-road racing. The jumps are quite precarious, and with such soft suspension and so on, you have seen the AIs having some issues with the ramps. Now, I don't know what the best technique is for these. I have found a technique that is working for me. Whether this is the proper one or not, I don't know. But what I have found is that if you go flat out as you hit the ramp, if you just sort of keep your foot nailed to the floor as you hit the ramp, you tend to take off and land very, very nose first. Now, I don't particularly want to be doing that. The trucks are sturdy, they'll take a few hits like that, but it's kind of very precarious, and you can often bounce a little bit wrong on the landings if you do that and so on, so you don't really want to be doing that. My preferred technique is to have a lift just as I approach the ramp. I'll let off the throttle briefly. Once we've got the front wheels on the ramp and so on, then I'll go back on the throttle, and that tends to let the truck fly quite nicely. And I'll tend to keep the throttle nailed through the air to try and keep the truck level. I don't know whether that's the best way of doing things. That's the way I am doing things, and it's working. There may well be quicker ways. The AIs do seem to have slightly better ways of taking those ramps. Actually, now braking really early down there. I know that car. That time there, I was just a little too cowardly. God damn it! I know I can go quicker. It's very annoying, but yeah, that's how I'm tackling the ramps. You can have big accidents across them. You've already seen the AIs have twitchy moments very, very easy to roll across them, as I found out. Those of you that follow me on Twitter might have seen the picture I put up. I think about my first drive with the truck. I came out of a corner. I was coming up to the first ramp, which you'll see in a second. As I went to put the power down, I got a little burst of wheel spin that tipped the truck sideways, and that put me in a lot of issues as I came up towards the ramp. I just clipped the side of it, went off the side of the ramp, and sure enough, used it essentially as a split ramp, and fell over. So you got to hit the ramp dead on. If you want to do things neatly, you want to be hitting those ramps as cleanly as possible. Otherwise, yeah, you can have big issues. You've seen the trucks twisting in the air and spinning on the landing. We have a potential for getting third if I don't do anything stupid. If I can get a couple of good laps in, maybe we could get up to third. But I think the gap might be too much. It's 2.5 seconds to the trucks ahead, and I really don't want to fall into the trap of trying to overdrive these. It is very, very easy to overdrive these trucks. I think that was some of the issues I was having when I first started to try and learn to drive them, is you just push them harder and harder, and then you make more and more mistakes with them. You've got to be, as I said, so very, very delicate with these as we're going up towards the hairpin. I do struggle with the hairpin. I tend not to be particularly good around here. I just can't quite get a good enough line ready through there. It's not awful, but yeah, it's just not quite as good as it could be. Now, the trucks do have a speed boost feature. I haven't touched it. Don't worry, I do know it's there. It's kind of a sort of push to pass button. I think you get to use it 8 times during, or you can use it up to 8 times during a race. The reason why I haven't touched it is, well, I'm having enough difficulties as it is trying to drive the truck normally, let alone with the added difficulty of suddenly giving a huge speed boost. If I'm kind of within range come this final lap, I might try it down here to get an overtake. But yeah, it's one of those things that, yeah, once you're more comfortable with the truck, once you're more consistent with the truck, go for it. Up until then, yeah, I'm not going to. It's just too likely for me to have a massive accident. I've also just looked out my window and it has started snowing. I'm not quite sure what's going on in England. That wasn't supposed to happen today. Oh well, it's a hard day for me. Let's not do anything stupid now, though, with our truck. I want to push it so much harder, but we're on the final lap, and I really don't want to make a mistake. I know I'm being slightly cowardly coming into that final braking zone, that final chicane, where I could make up some time. We're catching, but I think we're going to be out of luck. Maybe. Oh, here we go. That front wheel is wiggling around up in the air. Here we go, up towards the first of the ramps for this final lap. Come on, Super Truck. We can do this. We can maybe catch. We've made up almost a second so far. We're going to have to go for super, super bravery. Oh, don't do anything stupid with the truck now, Alex. Don't do anything stupid. Third place is gone. Third place is broken away from that pair. So we're looking at fourth. Maybe we can grab a fourth place. We're coming under braking now into the hairpin. You see, if I'd got this speed earlier, if I'd been braver on those previous couple of laps, maybe we could have done more. I just didn't want to throw it all away, and it's trying to find that balance with these trucks where you're comfortable pushing the vehicle and when you're not. That is so difficult. Now, we lose a little bit out of the hairpin and not quite as smooth across the jump. There's been a big accident behind me, I think. We've ditched 7th place completely. This is it. This is the one. I'm still going to be a little earlier on the brakes than perhaps I can ultimately be. We're going to try and be neat through here. Now we've just got the jump to go, and then we're going to hit the turbo button. We will get a big speed boost, but it's not going to be enough, I don't think. It will pick up speed. We're not going to be able to do it. I did get a faster lap, though. 6.8. I have, as I said, I have got it into the. I've got about a second quicker than that in practice, but that's when you're not worrying about the racing situation. If I'd done that a lap sooner, I might have caught up, but then I might have spun the truck as well. Yeah, these are as spectacular as I'd hoped. They are tough to drive. They are not forgiving in any way, shape, or form, and you will have to be as delicate as possible with them because. Yeah, you will have an accident. You will spin them quite a few times learning to drive them, I have no doubt. Just stick with it. You will get the hang of them eventually. Shall we go for some celebratory donuts? We came 6th in the end. Not too disappointed with that. I definitely think we could have possibly got up to a 3rd place. Hey, there we go. Celebratory roll of victory or of 6th place. Oh dear, my steering wheel is not happy with that one. Yeah, you can do a celebratory roll if you so want. With the trucks. I absolutely love this. I highly recommend this game in general. Fantastic game. But having Stadium Super Trucks just makes it even better. There's such a huge range of motorsport, and these things are a lovely, glorious challenge, even if they do give you a heart attack about 5 times a lap. Anyway, that is it for this video, guys. I even managed to roll one for you in the end. Oh, that was not good. Shall we go for a roll off a ramp, seeing as we are now... Seeing as we are now done. Or who is it? Is it Robbie Gordon that does all the 2-wheel driving? I don't know if you have enough skill if you can do that with these. I assume you can. Is it like Robbie Gordon and Sheldon Creed that'll do it? I've seen them do some of the showboating. Didn't get enough speed off of that run. Yeah, that's it for this video though, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.